Andrew, I don't know if you've been, how much you've been following the news
The news.
lately.
Yeah, I've been.
Yeah, current
I'm up to
event.
date. I heard we have our first black president, and I just want to say that's really
Hmm.
inspiring for me.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh, I don't know why I said for me
yeah.
as if I'm not a black man, but it's inspiring for me, just to see like
It's
America kind of
inspiring.
move forward
Sure,
in that way.
sure. No, no, it's
Yeah, it's
inspiring.
not about me.
Or was, yeah. Given that that was over 10 years, almost 20 years ago. When was it? 2008.
2008. What year is it now?
2005.
It's 2005.
Yeah. No, no. It's 2025.
This is the Jason Dementia Symptom Tracker. I'm gonna update the Jason Dementia Symptom Tracker. I think we're at like 4 now.
Right. What channel's lost on? I don't know why I can't find it. um, no, the reason I ask is I've been following an unfolding controversy regarding Elon Musk,
Elon Musk.
uh, the president-elect Elon Musk.
Of
Uh,
course. My dog knows all about it. All right, so we got controversy. President-elect Elon Musk.
yes. Amongst other things, he considers himself a gamer. He enjoys video games.
As do I. My Final Fantasy 14 character, Martin Farton, very styling Lalafell character.
Nice.
So I'm also a gamer.
Yeah, me too.
And
Yeah,
some have called me a boy genius in the way they've called that 52-year-old man a boy genius.
a boy genius. Yeah. No. Yeah, I'm a gamer as well. And some have called me a raging asshole, the same as people
Yeah, yeah.
have called Musk a raging
People have
asshole.
definitely used the raging adjective followed by a noun to describe you.
Exactly. Um, well, apparently, uh, he there's been some controversy about how good he is, or whether he's actually accomplishing what he claims to accomplish at video games.
All right, let me just
Uh,
say, like, you shouldn't be good at like a video. I feel like when people are really good at video games, they stop being fun.
yes, I agree.
I have
Um,
had very few games that I've ever been like really good at, um, and none that I've ever been at that like top level. But you don't want to be at that top level, and it's not about having a life. It's like you're just taking the joy out of the hobby,
no, I agree. I think
unless you want to go
I
pro.
would say I was legitimately good at the Tony Hawk series
Yeah,
back in the
yeah. But
day.
there was no like online leaderboard back then or anything like that.
Well, you could play online, like in the later iterations, and I
Okay.
would
Oh,
like,
so you mean pretty late on? I thought you were talking like the originals in the '90s.
no, no,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
um,
Because you're fucking
but yeah,
old. Because
I'm
that
old.
was yeah. Because
Yeah, hmm,
that's what I was. That's not why I was saying
hmm,
that, but that's why I drew that inference.
yeah. No, I would flip asteroids on
Yeah,
my Atari 2600.
yeah.
Uh, um, but no, a while last month, I believe he claimed to be ranked in the top 20 in Diablo 4,
Okay.
which is like an action RPG game.
Yeah, yeah. You and David,
Um,
you and our friend David play that. I've not played Diablo
yeah,
4. It's not my type of game.
yeah, yeah. And recently, the controversy arose. A similar kind of action RPG game that we don't need to get into details because no one gives a shit.
No, I give a
But
shit.
called
Which game?
Path of Exile 2,
I know of
which
that
is in
game.
early
I've never
release.
played it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Before we continue, let me just
it's
say I think I'm uploading this one as a video podcast. And let me just say, Jason, it's fortuitous that my mug and your shirt match.
yeah. Well, I have cowboys riding dinosaurs
Oh,
today.
you had some mushrooms. Yeah, I just only saw the mushroom. Oh no, those are
I do have
dinosaurs. The
mushrooms.
dinosaurs' feet look like mushrooms.
They do,
The viewers,
Es-
the
especially
throngs of viewers who sit there and don't
who's
listen
going
to
to be
this in
into
their
that.
car, who understand that you get so much out of the audio experience, and definitely not just two white
Huh?
guys sitting in front of their apartments.
Mhm.
They're gonna understand why I drew that inference that it was a
Right.
mushroom,
Hmm.
and that's what
Well,
matters.
if you're And if they're on shrooms, they certainly look like shrooms.
Yeah. I think if
You're
you're
not wrong.
on shrooms and you're driving, you should also watch, because the watching will balance out the mushrooms. It'll make you focus back
Right.
on the road. But if
Yeah, I
you're on
agree.
shrooms
Yeah.
and watching, please don't drive. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll echo that. Yeah. If you're flying, that's fine. Driving though. Shit, what was I saying? Oh,
I don't know.
but yeah.
Dementia count update 5. Okay, continue.
So yeah, people Musk is playing this Path of Exile 2, which is a very Diablo-esque game.
Yeah. And I'm familiar with
very,
it.
very
Yeah.
similar. Yeah.
My dad must love this part of the podcast.
Because,
Dad, when you're listening to this, let me know if you would rather hear us talk about this for this log or the time I bit that guy in the dick, because I did hear back about that one as well.
Well, I'll keep it brief, but people have watched him like playing. I guess he streams on X, formerly Twitter. I don't know. That's a mouthful. And people have noticed that like he's not very good. He doesn't know how to gear his character.
Right.
He doesn't. He seems to sort of fumble the controls for like a guy that's like max level and has all these like great in-game items. And so yeah, there've been people online have been actively investigating by watching his videos and determined that he must have paid someone to level his character,
man,
so then he could play it publicly as though it was his own, which is whatever. But
how's that going to work though? Because then people are going to see you play the game and be bad. It's like if I paid someone to get me into the NFL, like I could, like in theory, if I did that, it wouldn't go well. Like even if I succeeded at that.
Right. Even if you got in, it would be immediately obvious.
Yeah.
That you have absolutely no business being there because you're what, 5'6" and
yeah. Well, I gotta change my camera angles. We're on video.
Yeah.
There we go. No, now I got my wall partition in the background. Wait.
I thought you were
gonna. We're setting some mise en scène here, Jason. You can't rush greatness. Yes, we're gonna leave this in. I know most people are not going to watch the video and they're not going to like this very much. But you know what? I'm a fucking artist, okay? Before we continue, I am a goddamn... Can we just say this right now? Podcasts are the modern paintings. Because I'm painting a picture of society and the canvas is my intrusive thoughts. Right?
Yeah.
No, Van Gogh cut his ear off. How many people do you think we've made cut both ears off?
Certainly more than one. So we're already ahead of Van Gogh in that regard. No, I thought you were tilting the camera to show off your NFL physique.
I have a pretty good physique these days. I'm pretty cut. Well, I'm going to move this wall partition, and it's going to upset my dog probably. 1 second. Yeah, he didn't love it. He didn't hate it that much. You know what? It's fine, guys. If you're watching this on video, you can see the wall partition. You can see the dog stuff in the background. We're coming to you raw. This is the life of a fucking... What did I say we were? Fucking painters or fucking watercolorists or whatever?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Impressionists.
Impressionists? I could do an impression. Give me an impression. I'll do it right now.
Yeah. Shit, I took too long. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump? All right, I got this. All right, I think I'm actually... No, I'm not going to try to... All right, I've been talking to people about how much I hate Trump impressions, but I am actually going to try one. It's going to be really bad. But let's go.
Okay.
Underworld News Tonight. What a tremendous podcast, folks. I listen to it all the time, and I say it's like Under the World listening to the news at night. It's not good. Yeah,
actually, no, that was actually better than I thought. Well, the thing that Shane Gillis says he does with his Trump impressions, but he could also do the voice. I can't really do voices, but like what he says you do with the Trump impression. You're good. Yeah.
is you like make your hand motions not quite match what you're saying, and you do like a specific type of hand motion. Those are pretty easy. You say what you're thinking, and then you describe yourself thinking about it. So that's like what you say every time, and that's like
Sure.
that's like what people who are good at impressions do. I don't do that. I'm an observationalist.
No,
I
spot
ask
on.
the cutting
Yeah.
questions about society. Dude, there's so many fucking people. Like, I have to listen to so many fucking Trump impressions at open mics right now. I go to an
Well,
open mic.
my apologies. Then.
I go to an open mic basically every day, and there are a lot of people that do them. And the problem is that most people who do Trump impressions specifically, but impressions in general, this is just coming into the fucking asshole corner for a second, but most people who do Trump impressions specifically, and I would say not most, but a solid chunk of people who do impressions in general, think that the fact that they could do an impression, if it's convincing, but even if it's not,
itself.
Yeah, it's funny itself. So they'll do a Trump impression, and there will
Right.
be no jokes. And it's like, yeah, he says a bunch of ridiculous shit, and he has a funny voice. But, like, we're all desensitized to it because it's been 8 years of him as president or former president, and, several decades of him as a ubiquitous media figure. So, like, I don't know. Now I'm worked up. Should we start the show?
Yeah. Can I first, though, can I do my Tim Walz impression?
Yeah, let's do it. Timely.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tim Walz. I'm in Minnesota. Come have some of my hot dip and my mayonnaise-based casserole.
It's like he's here on the show right now. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Underworld News Tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Andrew Michaels, man of the people. Now, Jason, a lot of people don't know, a lot of people do, that you were my employee at our old call center job.
Well, you were. I wasn't your employee.
I was your supervisor.
You were my supervisor. I don't believe you had the authority to fire me.
I could have had the authority to suggest you be fired, and then it would have been really annoying, like 8 months of your life, and then they maybe would have fired you, or you would have just quit because that job fucking sucked. But the point is, I could say something that human resources at our old job would have never let me say. You were my most fuckable worker. Jason Strong. And now we're co-owners, so like there's no...
And, our mutual supervisor, I believe, told me as much herself, not in so many words.
We can't... Oh my god, we can't even go into it. The fact is that I know you are almost certainly telling the truth there. I know, dude. Oh my god, dude. Literally, she came over, our old boss. So basically the way it was I was his boss, like, but I really had no authority. I was like the most pathetic middle manager in the world. And then I was fucking Flat Stanley. And then my boss was this lady who was kind of everyone's boss, right? So she so we were all in this department. She came over to my house for a Hanukkah party, which was a mistake. I was 23. That was a dumb move. You don't need to tell me twice. And she immediately asked me and several guests about the Jews that killed Jesus. And I was like, my eyes were fucking beaming at the dreidel. I was locked on to fucking dreidel, dude. I was inventing new dreidel rules. Like,
yeah.
It's like, I'm going to make more fucking latkes.
Yes, she was very much a middle-aged Midwestern woman.
You know what I will say? Well, she was from New York. She was from I think the Bronx. Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
You know, but there's and I think it was the combination of she had the Midwest like political sensibility because she was from there and then she grew up in Phoenix. Like, she was kind of from all around. So she had kind of the Midwest, Middle America like political sensibility, but a lot of the New York confidence, and that's not the best combination.
It's not a good combination.
No. Right. She was a weird lady. She'd be fucking hilarious on the podcast, but I'll never do it.
No, I agree. Yeah,
she'll be after we get Jared Fogle. Maybe she'll be our second guest. Yeah. So, what do we do on this show? We give you the weird, wacky, and wild news of the week. things that the media won't talk about, except they probably do because we take the stories directly from them.
From
Kind of
the
read
media.
them while
Yeah.
we make jokes that mostly aren't very good, but one or two are usually funny an episode, I feel like, right? We get a couple.
Yeah.
We get a couple.
We kind of shotgun it.
In
We kind of
the
just
MLB,
laugh.
dude, I fucking wish, dude, like being a comedian is so much harder than being an athlete for real. Because in the MLB, if you have a 250 batting average, that's 1 in 4 you land a hit. Not even a home run, just a fucking base hit. You're like pretty good. You're like pretty good, dude. If 1/4 of my jokes were all that worked, I have had days like that, and you can get away with it if the 1/4 are really good. But you know it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. All right.
Always say, cut us some fucking slack, sports fans.
Yeah. No, it's not easy to read news articles verbatim.
And then I have to make the jokes. And you make jokes sometimes. I make the jokes, and then you respond to the jokes with your own jokes. And then they listen and they laugh at the jokes, or sometimes they breathe out of their nose a little heavier. Most of the time, they stone face it.
They kind of just
they're like, man, I gotta fucking speed through this workout, so I have to listen to this bullshit anymore.
Yeah, takes my mind. Their sucking takes my mind off my personal pain.
Exactly. I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
All right. Weird. What's the order? Weird, wacky, and wild.
Weird, wacky, and wild. Dementia count update 6.
Right. It's only been over a year.
Of me saying the same thing at the beginning of every episode. Yeah.
Well, and it being on like our social media and the website, and the description of the podcast, and yeah. All right. This I think falls under a wild and weird.
Wild and
wacky,
weird,
maybe. Yeah.
We'll see.
This comes to us from The Mix via MSN.
All right.
It's story written by James Conrad.
I don't think MSN needs its own little mini other newses. I don't think it's big enough for that.
I know. I don't.
Because MSN isn't involved in MSNBC anymore. Like, MSN isn't a part of MSNBC anymore, right? Like, it's still in the name.
No? Yeah.
They've provided initial funding, but Microsoft is not involved in that anymore. They are not. They're fucking getting ahead of themselves. That's all I'm saying, you know?
Uh-huh.
By the way, not everything needs to be like fucking another newspaper, you know? Like, the New York Times just has like an entertainment section. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Headline. Here's why Diddy is jealous.
I'm going to say not wacky. I'm going to say not wacky. I think that Sean Diddy Combs' actions, they were weird and they were definitely wild. But I'm going to say that they are abhorrent enough to result in the loss of the potential status of wacky.
Okay.
You wouldn't call him a wacky guy.
No, but
Would you?
The headline is wacky. No, absolutely not. No.
Okay, I shouldn't do that then.
Here's why Diddy is jealous of United Health assassin Luigi Mangione, who shares the same jail. Now, first of all, alleged
assassin. We don't know. We don't. This is a rush to judgment. First, we don't know what happened. He could be innocent. We don't even know, by the way, like, that bullet could have been there and he fell into it. That's the other thing too, right? Like, we don't even know that he was, just because a bullet was in a person doesn't mean that person was shot. He could have eaten the bullet.
Sure. Yeah, that's common, right? People eating bullets.
Yeah, it's on accident, right? It gets mixed into your fucking order. Your Wendy's
oatmeal,
chili.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst.
I've never had Wendy's chili.
I haven't either, actually. The idea of a fast food chili, something about it's just sort of off-putting to me.
Yeah, great. Glad we had this. Glad we took this little trip.
We've settled that. But to echo your comments about Diddy, yes, horrible person. As we go through the story, if we laugh and the jokes we make, it's not that he's funny. It's not that what he did is funny.
Yeah.
It's that we are so goddamn thirsty for just the slightest bit of justice in this world.
Yeah.
And the fact is
I
that
was going to say
people
content.
can't.
We're really thirsty for content.
Well,
So
that
we'll
too,
kind of discard our principles for cheap jokes now, whatever the consequences are later.
but this guy, uh, facing a little bit of suffering, like, I'm sorry, it's funny to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
No, fuck him.
yeah. It's been nearly 4 months since the disgraced music mogul and rapper Sean Diddy Combs, 55, was arrested, charged with human trafficking and racketeering.
Man.
If convicted on all charges, Diddy faces 15 to life in prison.
So, yeah, you can't racketeer. You can't racketeer. First off, I feel like a lot of good, honest, hardworking racketeerers out there. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we need to consider the broader impact this has had on the racketeering community. It is crazy. It is crazy to me, like, as an actual aside, that, like, racketeering is, like, this crime category that exists basically, like, as an anti-organized crime measure to make anything you do, like, anything you do. So, right? And, like, there's obviously a benefit to that. But then, like, you have the same category of crime, like, that Diddy's being charged with is what, like, a guy running an illegal gambling ring in a coffee shop is being charged with, which, like, I don't really give a shit about.
Right. Like, yeah, much less harm.
I think as I approach 30, I'm just turning into a libertarian. I don't
know. Yeah. Let them gamble at, what'd you say, coffee shops?
Yeah, I don't fucking care. Like,
of gambling.
Listen, like, it's not they should, like, look, if there's a fucking back room where, like, a bunch of, like, elderly Chinese people are gambling, like, I don't fucking, like, let them have their fun, you know? I don't fucking care.
Sure. Right.
If they're like if they're like gambling in the front and it's like little kids, then like stop that. But like
well, and now there's like fucking like
FanDuel, like
and you like what? Honestly, what's the difference?
And you know what? You know what the difference is? You know what the fucking difference is? There is dignity. There's not, but there's like a little dignity. It's a little cool to be like an old school gambling addict who like does poker and shit, right? Like who does these like high stakes poker games. He's like, I lost my house because I fucking bet the deed to my house in this like illegal poker ring, right? If you like just ruin your life, like scrolling your phone, fucking betting on New Jersey Devils games on FanDuel, like, yeah, that's sad, but you're just skipping over the cool parts.
Right.
Like you can't just do heroin. You got to make grunge first.
Exactly. Yeah, when you're going to play poker, you got to get dressed up.
Yeah, you have to wear a suit. Yeah,
right. And you sit in like a dimly lit, smoky back room, like watering down your whiskey so you don't get drunk as fast.
Yeah, the thing is, like, that's
the fun part.
Yeah, as a thing to do, I'm actually like very solidly anti-gambling. I think it's like the worst place to start.
I'm not a gambler.
I think it's like there's no like actual good part of it. However, like I guess what I'm saying about the Rico thing is I just think like I don't know. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, Jason. You know.
Diddy has
my dog came over for that one.
Yeah. Diddy has been denied bail multiple times as an inmate at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where he's been jailed since September.
Could I ask a question about that? So he's been denied bail multiple times. I understand he's made a number of offers. Has he tried like saying, pretty please, I promise I won't human traffic and racketeer while I'm out?
I don't see that. I don't know. Maybe you want to get in touch with his lawyer.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I would say. Like, did you say like, I'm sorry, like I'm not going to, oopsie daisies?
Yeah. Yeah. No, unclear. Article doesn't go into that level of detail.
This is what's wrong with the media today.
It is. Yeah. Real oversight.
The lamestream media.
Interestingly. Well,
how interesting is it, Jason?
It's bad grammar. Sorry. So it tripped me up. Interestingly, has since been joined at the Metropolitan Detention Center by the alleged United Health CEO murderer, Luigi Mangione.
Man.
Which obviously, interestingly, he has.
Yeah. So. Interesting. Yeah, they missed the word. We caught it. Yeah. We caught it. So let's not say we don't add something. We edited. Then we're not going to fucking tell them. They should fucking catch that shit ourselves. They don't pay us to tell them
Right.
what they did
Yeah.
wrong. Not enough.
Yeah. No, the mix should hire us, whatever the mix is.
Yeah.
Uh, now, insiders are
I
claiming
forgot
that
the
Diddy
news
is.
source we were doing was called The Mix for a second, and I thought you were just using
Yeah.
like the old timey slur for Irish people. And I was like, "Jeez, I think we can say I think it's fine now, but like what? It's a little out of pocket for you."
I'll take their corned beef, but
Oh my god.
now insiders are claiming that Diddy is jealous of Mangione, who has apparently become more popular with their fellow inmates than he is.
Hmm.
Diddy has been throwing tantrums over the fact that Luigi is getting all of the attention in prison and is being revered as a hero after
Yeah,
literally
he
murdering someone on camera.
well, yeah, like first off, this is not me condoning murder. Murder is like a crime. Murder is a crime. It's illegal to kill people, so you shouldn't do that. Obviously, in prison, people will receive you better if what you're accused of doing is killing a guy that nobody likes, who disproportionately affects people who are disproportionately of the socioeconomic group that's in prison, versus if what you're accused is like a bunch of rapes, many involving kids, which is kind of famously the thing they really don't like you for
They
in
really
there.
do not
They're
care
really
for it.
again like you can get it, like people will like some of the music you were involved in, although you also probably killed Tupac allegedly, so like maybe not. But like one Jared Fogle had dignity.
Oh my god. Diddy has dignity.
He didn't.
Well,
I'm not gonna keep. All right, bad man, a very bad man. But like he didn't like go in there and be like, people are gonna revere me as a hero because they like the sandwiches. I have street cred for the fucking Asiago and herb bread. He didn't do that, right? So
no, he didn't. I don't think he came up with anything. He was the spokesperson.
No, but like
he
people
didn't do shit with the
like
bread.
no, he didn't do anything. He was a sandwich hawker.
Yeah. A sandwich monger.
A sandwich monger.
Yeah. Well, and Diddy was like famous and talented and had and rich.
I
and like,
don't think he was really. He had a good ear. He had a good ear as a producer, but he was a bad. Like his raps were bad, and he didn't write the lyrics, and his flow wasn't good in the raps. Yeah. And he had a good ear for talent, but then in every song that he produced, you have to listen to him being like, hey, it's me. Hi, in the background, like awkwardly the whole time, like an 8-year-old with fucking ADHD. So like to the point that like even like you try to listen to old Biggie songs, and he so inserts himself into these songs that it doesn't feel weird because he like had very little to do with the music. Like at that point, I mean he had a lot to do with it, but like it doesn't feel like tainted because he's not really rapping. But you're still sitting there like what
What are you doing? Well, my point being that like. I don't know, like the world was his oyster. like why is he doing this shit? He could get with nearly anyone he chose to. He's like consensually, and it's just weird that like, well, not weird, but like evil and gross that.
Yeah.
Like
it's not about like that's what he wanted, like that's over everybody, that's what he wanted, and he had that mentality, and it's not for somebody like that. It's not about like, well, I could have consensual relationships with everybody, with anybody I want, because they don't want a consensual relationship, right? They want power, they want the ability to discard people.
Right. So fuck him.
Yeah, exactly.
Diddy has long claimed that he is innocent of all the charges against him. Despite this, he gets, quote, so much hate inside the lockup while Luigi gets so much love.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Even,
that's. I feel like other
again,
people in
yeah,
prison try being like, "Wait, I didn't do it."
right. I don't. Yeah, as I
My
understand it,
dog
never
wants me
been
to
to
throw his
that.
fucking llama, showing the
By all
viewers.
means, that's a handsome llama.
Yeah, he's had it for a while.
Uh, I have never been to prison. I've never been to
Really?
jail. I know.
You been in a
I'm as
paddy
surprised as
wagon? Have
you
you
are.
ever been in a paddy wagon
Nope. I've been in the back of a cruiser, cop car, but that's it.
for doing a crime, or was it like a ride along?
Doing a crime.
What'd you do?
Shoplifting. When I was
Nice.
young,
That's crazy
they
because
took me
when you were
home.
young, that's
Yeah.
crazy because stores are really heavy.
Yeah. No, I
That's that.
practiced.
I understand that might not
Yeah.
seem like a
I was
really
doing
funny joke.
push-ups. Yeah.
It might not seem like a very good joke. It might seem like a pretty bad one to you.
Uh,
But
yeah.
that's you're just not intellectually
Right.
in tune.
Sure. Whenever I think you made a bad joke, I just chalk it up to the generational divide between
Exactly.
us.
I'm kind of the
And I
voice
think, these
of
kids today.
I'm kind of the voice of the weird Gen Z millennial cuspers. I'm the voice of my
Exactly.
generation.
Uh-huh.
There's just not that many of us, so that's why I have like 200 Instagram followers.
Yeah. Even in prison, Diddy's ego is bigger than life. Source went on to say that Mangione is, quote, loved by the prisoners and is not having a difficult time dealing with everything because he has gotten so much support with prisoners who have shared their stories of losing loved ones due to inadequate health
Yeah,
care.
no, I mean obviously that's a problem in this
Right.
country, and yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And I suspect
They
I
don't
don't
love again. They
not
don't really
having a
love
difficult
rape.
time. Yeah. Well, and not having a difficult time, I think probably overstates.
Yeah, I mean he's still in
like,
prison.
I think it sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the other prisoners are nice to him, which like don't get me wrong, it is important, but
Right. You're still in prison. Not to mention the fact that the prison itself faces constant allegations of inadequate health care to those who are locked up, the insider added. Which, yeah.
tracks.
I know, like Rikers? Rikers is like, being sued or.
It's
I don't
not
know about
good. I
this
mean, it's a
particular.
bad place. You don't want to be there.
Well, no, but like specifically in regards to like healthcare and
Yeah,
mental health care and how people were treated during COVID. And
man, I fucked up. I just picked my nose in the air. We're on video now, man.
yeah.
Fuck, they saw me do it.
Oh, well. Well,
Gotta keep the sinuses
it
clear.
would, yeah, it was a scratch. If you hadn't said anything, they would just
Well,
assume it
no,
was a
I gotta
scratch.
be honest. I owe them transparency.
That's true. I guess you're right. Yeah. As journalists.
As yeah, I mean, we found that missing he
Uh-huh.
in MSN.
Uh, and in the spirit of that, the same transparency, I've been digging up my balls most of the time.
Well, yeah.
I've been
Well,
reading this.
that's just the result of getting older.
It does, yeah. I'm so itchy all the time. I have no idea.
Yeah, man, that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah, right. You know what they say: as you get older, you get
You
itchy.
get itchier, yeah.
Yeah. Coincidentally, Diddy and Mangione actually share a legal team. However, they have yet to meet one another at the time of this writing.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, what?
because
Yeah,
right? Why would they?
yeah.
Mangione remains in solitary confinement, while Diddy is with the jail's general population. I wonder why Mangione's in solitary.
You think they're like
Like,
torturing this guy for no reason?
well, I think it's pretty obvious they're trying to make an example of him.
Yeah,
Like you saw, like your esteemed mayor,
our beloved
uh,
mayor.
right?
He thinks he's
Walk.
fucking Commissioner Gordon. Like,
I know they're walking him into trial like he's Hannibal Lecter.
oh my
Like there's
god,
a phalanx of police officers guarding him. Like,
oh my god, like,
yeah,
fuck, yeah. No, I mean it's literally
it's
they're
so
they're
weird.
trying. It's so over the top. It's so like it's really what it is.
Right.
So because like, look,
Right.
obviously murder is illegal. So when something illegal happens, the government has to prosecute it. but the type, like, yeah, that perp walk, like the solitary confinement, all that, like it's very obvious. Like you said, it's just very naked
Right.
what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Diddy has not had any contact with Luigi Mangione. Despite sharing the same legal team, the source explained, they do not spend time together and the two really have zero in common. I
Yeah,
would argue now they probably have quite a bit in common.
they have one thing in
They
common:
probably
they go to the
they're
same
the
place.
same outfits.
They
They
had the
wear the
same
same
thing
clothes.
every meal.
Right. Mangione has been accused of fatally shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on
Nah,
the streets of Manhattan on December 4th.
you know
This
what
was
I'm gonna say?
allegedly,
I
yeah.
think Brian Thompson. I think he was faking it. And he's still out
You
there.
think, yeah, uh huh.
I think it
Well,
was
it's like
insurance fraud.
right, like he faked his own death, like
Yeah,
a
he's like, I
fake
don't have to pay for
suicide.
this. I don't have to pay for this if
Uh
I'm
huh.
dead, and we get the life insurance. And I
Yeah,
can't get sick if God thinks I'm dead.
that's right. That's the big one.
That's what
God,
a lot of people miss that part. 'Cause they're like, oh, I don't
uh
have
huh.
health insurance, I'm sick. But you have to trick God, so that's why the video.
Exactly. Uh, Mangione has been accused of fatally shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on the streets of Manhattan on December 4th. This was allegedly a targeted assassination that was meant to send a message about healthcare in the U.S. Mangione has pled not guilty to multiple counts of murder, including murder as an act of terrorism.
Yeah, no, I mean,
There they get the terrorism shit. Like
can I?
you're talking about
I think
racketeering.
they're accusing him just because he's Italian American. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just
Oh,
gonna say it.
yeah.
They cannot stand. They cannot stand our aura. They can't stand our
Yeah.
energy.
Hmm. Yeah. That's why they're going after Columbus Day.
That's listen.
You gotta
He was a brave
gotta tear down
Italian
them
explorer.
Italians. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
God.
Uh, Italian cuisine famously reviled.
Famously, they go after it all the time.
People will complain. Like landlords will get mad if you cook Italian food.
They will. Yeah, no.
That oregano's never coming out of the apartment.
Oh my god.
Despite the brutality of Thompson's murder, Mangione has garnered a ton
All
of
right,
support
I'm
for
gonna
himself
say
online.
like murder's bad. Again, murder is bad, right? Brutality
Yeah,
makes it sound like he like
brutality,
skinned
yeah.
him alive. He got shot. That's a standard murder. That was it was a guard. It was it was well executed, obviously from like a technical standpoint. Like it was for lack of a better word,
Uh-huh.
impressive. But you wouldn't be like this was a brutal murder, right? You'd be like this was a murder.
Well, and also this is sort of like sly editorializing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why is this described as brutal? But the shit about
Diddy
Diddy,
is not
like,
brutal.
there's no
What Diddy
right.
did
Like,
was
there's
more
no.
brutal,
That's
right?
actually
Like brutal,
horrible.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
right.
yeah, like Brian Thompson was like dead before, like was dead very quickly, right? Like and like yeah, it
Yeah.
sucks, but you don't want to be. It's a bad day. It's a bad day, right? It's a bad day, but
Right.
like like I don't know, brutal.
Yeah.
Like the Gilgo Beach killer. That guy was brutal.
Hmm. Right. Yeah. Just as we were saying, the kind of subtle and not so subtle attempts to like cue the opinion on Mangione,
Because they want us all to
which
be mobsters or
uh-huh.
cute Italian plumbers who save princesses. And somebody who doesn't fit into
And there's
that
nothing in
mold,
between.
they have to
That's
accuse
right.
him of being a brutal murderer.
That's right.
But the only thing that
Yeah.
man ever murdered was a plate of pasta visual.
Yeah. Shoot.
Prosciutto melon.
Yeah. Put away some gabagool.
Scabagool.
Whatever. Fucking care.
You should. It's good.
I believe it. No, Italian food's great. A source claimed that Mangione is moved by this, the support. The insider added that, quote, he is extremely aware of the massive fan base he has right now. Mangione was reportedly, quote, shocked and really choked up when he first saw how much support he was getting. This allegedly, quote, gave him confidence and reassurance he will be okay.
Like
Now,
being
first
the
of all,
coolest guy in prison is
not going to be.
probably pretty awesome. Like it's
I
not going to be
have
okay. It's not going to be okay. It's going
no.
to be rough.
He's definitely not going to be okay.
They're going to throw the
No.
fucking book at him, and he's
Yeah.
not getting a fair trial. It's not going to be an impartial trial. There's like
No.
whatever level of guilt, like it wouldn't be an impartial trial. And that's not even me making any assumption. I know we've been joking about his presumed innocence. He did probably do it, right? Like probably, but like you still are entitled to a fair trial, which they've already set up him not getting. Right?
Yeah. Yes. In contrast, Diddy has lost pretty much all of his fans, as the court of public opinion is very much against him.
You think there's a guy out there? You think there's a guy out there like is a huge Diddy fan and hasn't heard about this yet? He's just really
holding on. Yeah,
the last guy from 1993. Like he doesn't have internet. He just listens to all the CDs all the time.
Right.
Or a guy who's like just getting into Diddy's music now and hasn't heard about any of this.
Right. Right. The same way that there are people that like will write serial killers in prison. Like there's some young kid who's just now like because of this being aware of every breath I take.
Oh my God.
That's the only Diddy song that comes to mind for me, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, again, it's mostly him like doing shit on other people's songs and usually making them worse.
On top of the charges that he is facing, Diddy has also been hit with sexual assault lawsuits from over 150 men and women who claim that they were abused by him. Where's the brutality?
That sounds very brutal. That sounds very brutal. Also,
bad.
That's a bad thing to do. And 150, that's do something like it's not a good use of your time management, right? Like that's a lot of.
No.
From what I've heard about the Diddy stuff, they were very lengthy, right?
Yeah.
You're telling me this was like fucking weekly? You're telling me this was like fucking like what? Like there's 52 weeks. Well, no. So this was 52 weeks a year. He's apparently really like only gotten this bad over the last like 15 years, right? So like he was always a bad guy, sure. But that's when it was like this level of stuff, right? So let's say 150. That's 10 times a year. So he's doing these monthly. That's a lot.
That's a shit ton. Diddy has pled not guilty to all of the charges against him and claims that he has never sexually assaulted anyone. He is currently awaiting his trial, which is set to begin in May. But was he married to J-Lo for a while?
He dated J-Lo in the early 2000s. They weren't married, but they dated in the early 2000s. Okay. Very publicly. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's just that's
No, ridiculous top to bottom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of with the Mangione, I guess my feeling is I don't really care. Not to sound, I guess, callous, but like people die or killed every day. Like, why is this one?
Why is this one being prosecuted to this? Not why is it being like obviously they're going to prosecute a murder. Why is he getting the fucking Hannibal, like you said, the Hannibal Lecter treatment? No, and it doesn't from this perspective even of like the government who recognizes there's a lot of sympathy around this guy, right? It doesn't help their case because seeing such a disproportionate response has radicalized more people. Like, would in their eyes radicalize more people, right?
Right. Well, and contrast that with, and I'm going to tip my political hand here.
Oh, we shouldn't do that. People don't know. Yeah.
The way they've treated Ron Paul. No.
Oh my God. Listen, he was right about some things, mostly the Jew stuff.
Right about the gold standard. No, just the kid gloves and the slow walk that like Trump got for the past 4 years and all of his.
Yeah.
And kind of the same thing. Like he has kind of a cold personality around him. It's just, I don't know. Like I just find this all like I like you said, the guy innocent until proven guilty. You know, maybe he did it.
Maybe he didn't.
Whatever. I have no idea like what's going on in his head, but like I don't think he's a hero, but
No,
I
we're not.
also
I
don't
wouldn't
think
say that on the
he's
show.
not
Like,
the
I wouldn't say that.
right.
Yeah.
No, I would only say that in group chat.
Yeah.
No, I would say no.
They
But he's
can't
not
come for
like
our group chats.
he's not the Batman villain that
No, what's
like
he doesn't
he's
that
being painted as.
no. No, it's very, he's not like a serial killer. He got one guy, right?
Right, and it's the guy presumably he was after.
Yeah.
Like no one else got hurt.
Yeah.
No one else like was even inconvenienced
Yeah,
as far as
there
I
was
could
nobody in
tell.
the vicinity. Again, it was like it was like a Hitman mission. Like if you ever played the
Right.
Hitman games. We're not
No, you're
condoning
saying
it.
that.
We're not condoning it. We're not saying it's good.
And
We're just
and
saying that it's gotten a disproportionate response for
yes.
a reason, and that reason is reflective of some bad things. And
Yeah,
that's not condoning murder. It's just kind of stating how this murder is being treated compared to other murders.
exactly. And I wouldn't even I wouldn't even this like pre-apology or this pre-explanation of like no one's condoning like no murder's bad or obviously like you shouldn't kill people. I won't even include that because if it's obvious I shouldn't have to
Yeah,
say
right.
it.
It's a crime. It is a crime. Yeah, like that's the thing.
But
Murder
the
is
fact
illegal.
right, but I feel like the fact that so many people do have to well, obviously in talking about this guy, obviously murder's bad.
Right.
Like because it is maybe a little questionable.
Yeah. No,
I
no.
don't know.
Yeah, I
Now
see
I'm
what
all
you're
worked
saying,
up.
and I'm not going to comment, but I see what you're saying.
Now I'm all worked up and I have to keep doing this dumb
I got my
podcast.
dog worked up. Let them relax.
Yeah.
All right, let's do
Where
stories
was
that are.
where was Lentil December 4th
He was in my
now that we're
apartment
talking about it.
being fucking annoying, probably.
He wasn't he
Yeah,
wasn't downloading
he doesn't know how to use a
the
gun. He doesn't have thumbs.
and you don't have a 3D printer. You can
I
go
do
to the
not have a
library,
3D printer.
3D print a gun.
There is probably a 3D printer at my local library, but I don't think I could get away with 3D printing a gun there. I feel like they'd notice pretty quickly.
I guess that's probably right. I don't know.
Plus, if you 3D print a gun at the library, like it's awkward in the return slot.
I don't know. Oh, I didn't think of that. But I think you're right. Oh, all right. Moving on. This now we're gonna dispense some advice.
All right, let's do it.
This comes to us from our paranormal encounters.
All right.
The poster, sorry, it's like a disaster piece, D1SS
Yeah,
ATER piece. Yeah, disaster piece.
they spelled it wrong, but
Title?
that's okay.
Yeah.
2 S's.
No. And a 1.
Yeah, but the one is like they couldn't get the I. That's to be cool.
Yeah, that's true. Someone else.
So young
someone,
people do that to
there's
be
another.
cool, Jason.
Oh, do they?
Yes, you wouldn't know.
I think that proper spelling and punctuation school, personally.
That's true. It's pretty radical
Yeah.
to use a comma.
Uh-huh. Oxford
And
comma.
if you use a semicolon, women will give you a fucking rim job.
Yeah.
We had that poster hanging up at my middle school, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
I had to edit it
forward
to say
thinking.
that, but
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, sometimes when I'm writing, I'll just chuck in some semicolons. Like I'll put 3 or 4 of the shits in a row.
you can't blow your load right away like that, man.
Right.
You
Just
can't. You
make
got to
sure
space
I'm
it out. You got to
covered.
be sensual. You got to massage the semicolons in to your writing.
Right.
You're writing, put
Start
on
with
a
the
little
period.
Marvin Gaye, some Luther Vandross, a little Anita to really set this party off right, and that's how you get your papers in the mood.
No, that makes sense. Title: Something is pretending to be my cat.
Meow.
I am currently in bed right now. I was hearing these meows, but they weren't any of my cat's meows.
Meow, meow, moo, fuck, fuck, fuck. Meow, I mean.
It sounded extremely off, all caps, like a person or thing trying to intimidate a cat, or excuse me, imitate a cat.
Hey, look at me. I'm a cat. I drink milk and I'm gay.
Yeah.
Is that a good joke? Is that a well-crafted joke? And you think, hi, I'm a cat. I drink milk and I'm gay. Is that a good joke?
I don't think cats are really supposed to drink milk.
All right, that's a good point.
The gay is obviously true.
Yeah, they are. They are.
All
Yeah, so
cats
is
are.
my dog.
Yeah.
My dog's also gay.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it isn't any of my two cats because I have both of them next to me right now. Every time I hear the meows in the hallway, I get an extremely eerie vibe, like something horrible is about to happen. I have no clue what the hell is in the hallway, as I'm too scared to check it out. I've always heard these things trying to replicate voices of my loved ones, but never animals.
Hi, it's me. It's your mom. Hi, it's mom. It's mom.
Come and give us a kiss.
It's your mom. I'm addicted to Xanax over here.
I'm terrified and don't know what to do. Edit. So it goes on. Holy shit. Mimics scare me so much. It's the only paranormal being.
That's the thing that
actually
pretends
know
to
of.
be the treasure chest in D&D, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
that. I don't think it's that because those are not real.
And they don't make noise. Because treasure chests don't make
But
noise.
yet they pretend to be other shit. I think they make a little bit of noise. I think that if you like moved the lock on it before, I think it makes a little clanky noise. Right?
The bones.
Yeah, I think it.
Oh. Do that again. I'm currently back in bed, and right as I was about to grab my laptop, I heard the being mimic not my cat, but my dad and my sister. It started with footsteps. I'm usually extremely good at telling whose footsteps are whose, but I couldn't with these footsteps. Kind of sounded like tiptoe walking. Thought it was my sister, as she always gets water in the middle of the night, but it then sounded like my dad was talking. Even now, as I'm writing this, I keep on hearing this big, loud thumps, but I can't tell if it's in my hallway or the roof space. The entrance ladder to get into the roof space just so happens to be in my room.
Okay, so now that you mentioned that, yeah, there's somebody breaking into your house and you should leave. The other question is, do you live near an Italian-American man? We're loud people. Like our footsteps who echo.
And is your father or someone else you live with happen to be the CEO of a health insurance company?
That's true. That might be a problem. Or is your cat?
Oh, yeah. No, cats would be great at that job.
Garfield Care denies a lot of claims.
I believe that.
Yeah.
That guy's always been shady.
He's been, yeah. And you know what else? I think he's on Ozempic. Look at old Garfield. Old Garfield was fat. New Garfield's not fat anymore.
I didn't know they're still making Garfield.
They still make Garfield. It's not gotten better.
Where would you find it? Like
in
newspaper?
Yeah, newspaper or on Garfield.com. Would you like to look at today's Garfield strip, Jason? We could do that together.
Now that you mention it, yeah, let's take a look.
All right, let me go ahead and pull it up. Garfield strip of the day. Today on Garfield by Davis. And it's Sunday, so they have a longer one, if you recall how the newspaper funnies work.
I do. Uh-huh.
All right, so I'm going to describe it. Yeah. So first, the intro panel, it's just Garfield next to a snowman, right? Oh, no, I don't think that's it.
Uh-huh.
Now? No, I'm not going to download this browser. No, it is. Okay, so we got Garfield next to the snowman. Its title, Garfield. That's to let you know what you're reading. Then we got Garfield typing on a laptop. Very modern-looking laptop. Laptops still look like this, right?
Yeah. Looks like it has the MasterCard logo.
And it says tick, 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 tick a bunch of times, repeatedly for several panels. It's because he's typing.
You got 4 panels of that.
Yeah. Now you might say this is clearly a 3-panel comic that you repeated the same panel 5 times. Right,
Right.
literally the same exact panel. This is the laziest shit I've ever
Right.
seen, Jim Davis. You might say
Uh-huh.
that, but you don't understand. No,
Yeah.
he's an artist. It's about timing. And then he hits
Yeah.
send. He hits send.
Uh-huh.
You know how you just
Right.
hit a button on your computer and that button is send?
And then it's send. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
it makes a noise that
The
says
send key.
send, as you can see here.
Uh-huh.
And then he says to John, I sent you the grocery list. He says it in his thought bubble because that's how Garfield talks. He's psychic.
Right.
And then John's looking at his phone, and his phone exploded. See, he was typing for so long because he has a
Right.
lot of groceries, because
It's a
Garfield's
very
a
big
fat
deal.
cat and he eats lasagna. But like what I'm establishing, Jason, is look at Garfield. He's a little tubby, right? He's a little tubby. But you would not describe this as a particularly fat cat, right?
No, not anymore.
Now let's go back to the first
Yeah.
ever Garfield strip.
Okay. Holy shit, that is a fat Garfield.
That is a fat fucking cat. He also looks like an actual cat. We don't need to read the strip. Everybody knows the strip. John Arbuckle looks very upsetting back in the day. That's okay.
Yeah.
But the point is, I think Garfield's on Ozempic, number one. Number two, actually, that was fucking horrible. Why the fuck? Like, you literally did the same panel 4 times. This is what you guys miss out on if you don't watch the podcast on video starting now, by the way.
Right. Or subscribe to your local newspaper, I guess. This must be why they're in decline with this level of quality.
With this level of quality, the Garfield industry, as goes that, so goes local media.
That's as the saying goes, yeah.
Yeah.
I
hope Doonesbury's picking up the slack.
Right. Doonesbury. Oh, man.
Man, slew him with that joke.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess my thought went to raccoons. Raccoons could possibly make noises kind of like cats, but also...
Yeah, but not like a grown man. Can't imitate your dad's voice.
I don't know if they're... Oh, they can, if they're upstairs stomping around in the attic.
Does your dad have a very raccoon-like voice? That's a follow-up question, maybe. If he does, then, that's a possible solution. Or there's someone breaking into your house. It's probably not a mimic, because those aren't real. That's in Dungeons and Dragons. Again, I cannot stress enough. That's a thing in the popular, not my favorite tabletop RPG, but the popular tabletop RPG, Dungeons and Dragons, and a good intro to the genre. But, it's no scum and villainy.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think mimic would be the right, because this is all noises. It's audio.
Yeah.
It's not like a mimic, I think, of assuming a form. This is more like Mockingbird, or it's
yeah, a mimic would be like me mimicking Jason. Like, I could do that. Like, I'd be like, look at me, I'm Jason Strong. I fuck spinach, and I fuck the frozen spinach at the supermarket, and they banned me.
See? Yeah. That's all right. As I famously say.
That's your catchphrase.
Yep. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jason Strong. Yeah. I fuck spinach. I fuck the spinach at the supermarket, and they banned me. That's your catchphrase.
Yeah. Unrelatedly, do not shop at the King Supers on 38th Avenue.
We're boycotting?
Well, I'd stay away from the frozen vegetables. Yeah, I don't know. Or a fat Garfield. Maybe that's what the thought bubbles sound like.
It could be. Yeah, it just
because you're right.
Into your head.
Boy, I don't know. Yeah, that one's creepy, and we get it sort of real time.
Yeah, because Jim responds. So Jim's hearing, Garfield. Jim can read his cat's thoughts, and
I meant the Reddit post, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jim does have a weird psychic connection
to his cat.
Right.
He's fucks the cat's vet too. I think he's married to, I know a little more about the Garfield lore than I should, and he is officially married to Liz the veterinarian for 10 years now. And I just feel that good for him, right? But is it a conflict of interest? Is it wrong to fuck a patient's? Doctors can't fuck their patients. Can vets fuck the owners of their patients?
Hmm.
Would I be able to fuck
I don't know.
Lentils vet?
I don't think there's.
I wouldn't. They're in
I
a
don't
lot
think
of
there's
debt.
necessarily. Yeah, I don't think there's. Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think there's any rules against it. I don't know. They're in Muncie, Indiana. You'd have to look up the
The vet code in Muncie, Indiana.
in Muncie in Indiana,
Yeah.
which I'm certainly not
Yeah,
prepared to do.
I don't think we need to do that
Uh,
today. Not today.
um, we'll leave it a mystery. Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. This person, they might just be fucked. You know,
They
if
might be
it's
dead right now
was
already.
was right. If it's cats, and then
Cats,
now it's
raccoons,
people,
burglars,
it's
mimics,
definitely
Garfield. You can't win.
right. Uh-huh.
Spooky
Yeah.
world we're living in.
Now it's yeah, it's awful.
Awful.
So sorry. Yeah.
Tough
Sorry.
break. Sorry you were murdered.
Yeah.
You know,
Can't help everyone. You know.
gets a
You got to
that
focus.
gets a sorry for your murder from us.
Yeah.
And if you weren't
Sorry for
murdered,
the murder.
congratulations. Good for you.
Right. You figured it out, I guess.
Yeah. Let's go Mets.
That's right. What? How many of these Reddit posts do you think are like the neighbors in a costume trying to spook away the people because there's like a treasure or something buried under their house? Like wasn't that kind of always the Scooby Doo plot line?
Yeah,
Was
but I don't think that happens in
we
real
gotta
life. I think
I gotta
I'm
clear out
confusing.
the
I got bad news. That is going towards the dementia count.
oh shit.
It's number 7 because you're confusing Scooby Doo plots for real life, and that's not good, right, bud? It's not a good sign.
No.
That was a cartoon.
I mean you mean there's no chance that someday I can't be like chasing around the Harlem
You could
Globetrotters or
absolutely chase
the
around
mamas
teens,
and the
Jason,
papas?
but when you go to jail, it's not going to be on ghost-related charges.
I can't go into one door on the side of a hallway and then come out the other side set to
Can't do that.
like 60s pop music.
That's not a lot. That doesn't. We wish we could. We all wish we could.
Man.
You could do it if
I
you had a
can't go-
really round room connecting the two rooms. You'd have to go through some other doors, but I mean, you know, you have doors that open to other doors. In theory, you could go in one door and come out another door. It's just there'd be doors in between the doors, or like, you know, a weird hallway. Wouldn't be instant like in the cartoon.
What about when I go to run away and I just sort of hover in the air for a couple beats and you hear the sound of bongo drums
Oh
as my
yeah.
legs like flail
And you look down and then you're like, "Uh oh,
ineffectively.
I'm on the air," and then
Right.
you pull down.
Ba-dum.
That I think does happen. My grandpa on my mom's side died that way, so I don't like to joke about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bring up such a
It's all right.
painful memory for you.
That was a rough one. It was a rough one. You know, we all told him not to do it.
Yeah.
But somebody threw somebody threw his giant, comically large sandwich real hard, and his dog chased it, and his dog ran off the ledge, and the dog was fine, but he ran off the ledge after the dog.
Oh, yeah. That's too bad.
It happens to millions of people every year.
That's right. Take comically large sandwiches.
Yeah.
Okay, ready for our third story?
Third story, let's go.
Getting back to some hard-hitting news. This one comes to us from Oxygen True Crime.
All right, let's go.
Is that Oprah's network?
No, I think
Oxygen?
Oprah's network is just O.
Oh, yeah. This is by Jax Miller.
Nice.
Jax Miller. Yeah. New Jersey reporter still missing nearly 30 years after investigating underground vampire community.
Oh shit. You know, I just want to say I was not a Jersey vampire. If you look at pictures of me from any time that I lived in Jersey, we could all agree I was too fat to be a vampire. You ever notice that? You don't see a lot of fat vampires, by the way?
I do actually. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like very few fat vampires. There's not zero. Sometimes you get a fat mobster vampire, right?
Hmm.
But for the most part,
Right.
you just don't see them. What's the deal?
Yeah. They're like whisper thin
Yes,
usually.
usually, yeah. No, I know a lot of twink on twink violence in the vampire community.
That's right. Single mother Susan Walsh was last seen walking from her Nutley, New Jersey apartment to use a payphone. She remains missing to this day.
Oh man, it's a rough one.
Yeah,
It's sad.
yeah. A freelance reporter from the tri state area vanished without a trace. Decades old case with a handful of motives and still no explanation. Susan Walsh was 36, was living with her preteen son in a rundown brick apartment in Nutley, New Jersey, less than 10 miles north of
You didn't
Newark.
need to fucking take a dig at her apartment. I'm just
I
gonna
know. That's
run
shitty. Yeah.
down. I'm sure she kept it up as well as she could. She was a single mom investigating some vampires.
Right. Obviously, her time's precious, and she has to divide it between
Yeah, yeah.
taking care of her preteen son,
She can do during the day, and then
investigating the
vampires are
vampires.
active after kids go to bed. So
Right. Right. But she certainly would have ran a Swiffer over the floors and
yeah, yeah.
kept laundry and yeah.
No, she had time during the day.
Uh, um, less than 10 miles north of Newark and about an hour's drive northwest of Manhattan, according to the Doe Network. What is the Doe Network map? Like that doesn't.
Yeah, that's just the distance the
they
two
ask,
places are from each
hey,
other.
where's Nutley?
Source: New York is
Yeah.
next to New Jersey. Source: CNN.
Her head scratching 1996 disappearance became tabloid fodder for media outlets contemporaneously focusing on Walsh's substance abuse history and her moonlighting as an exotic dancer,
So she
which
was
loved
cool.
ones said,
She was fucking
yeah,
cool.
could be why authorities didn't solve her case sooner.
That probably is true.
So that much is true. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
those
a sad
seem
thing.
like bullshit. Like, I mean, I'm a substance
Yeah.
substance user and an exotic dancer.
We're also yeah exactly. We've all exotically danced.
Right. I like the term moonlighting. I didn't realize that was still a
Yeah, well, that is probably the
that
problem
was
with her
still a term of
investigation method, though, right? Is because like moonlighting is when you want to do your vampire investigation.
right. But if
You
you
don't
have
want
to work as a dancer, yeah.
Yeah, you got to be a daytime exotic dancer, and that's a tough gig. If you're working in a strip club
Oh,
at 2
there's certainly
p.m., you have seen some horrible,
yeah,
horrible
you're
things.
right. Yeah. No, that is not you're not getting the primo
I don't
tips
get. I think I've said this in the
opportunity.
show before. Strip clubs are like the least appealing concept to me.
Yeah. I'm kind of with I've only ever been once. And it was fine, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't like the idea of like engaging in that way with somebody who I know doesn't want to be there. Who I know is like waiting for the end of her shift.
Right. Yeah. And the one that I went to, you could bring your own beer, but then you had to pay for it.
That's it's not fucking fine dining. You don't get a corking fee.
Right. So like our case of natty ice or whatever ended up being like $50.
Oh, you had to
And
pay
that's
per
yeah,
beer?
it's like yeah. Well, you paid so we had to buy it. And I think since we were coming from a bar, we bought it from a bar.
All right, so yeah, you
And
don't
then we
don't
went
do
to the
that. Yeah,
strip
that
club
that
and then
that
they
makes
charged us again.
oh my god. Yeah, don't buy a
I was
case of
young.
beer from a bar.
It was a
That's
different time.
was
Yeah.
52.
You say 1897.
The Gilded Age.
She did not decide to go freaking to wait. She did not decide to freaking go off and not be coming back. Walsh's brother, Arthur Merchant, told Bergen, New Jersey's The Record in 2020. From Walsh's investigative journalistic work, which included deep dives into the Russian mob,
All right,
illegal
so I'm
strip
going to
club
stop you there.
operations.
I feel like that one might be the
That's the
one.
one.
That's it. I
That's the
don't
one.
think it was the vampires. I think that the vampire. I don't think she's a vampire now. I think she is a dead lady now, because of the Russian mob.
Um, but deep dives in the Russian mob, illegal strip club operations, and vampire subculture to suspicious stalkers and drugs. Here's everything to know about the disappearance of Susan Walsh.
I think they covered it.
Mm-hmm. And again, I don't want to make light of like a woman disappearing, but this is going to have some
Yeah, let's go. Let's hear about the vampires.
content that and yeah. No, Walsh lived in a Washington Street apartment upstairs from her estranged husband. That doesn't seem like a great
That's not great. No, you don't
arrangement.
want that.
Mark Walsh, the brother of famed Eagles musician Joe Walsh,
Man, R.I.P. Is
according to
he
the
the dead
record.
one?
No. Well, I don't know. He wasn't. Last I checked, Joe Walsh is my favorite of them. I think he went on to have like a pretty good solo career. He was on the Drew Carey show.
Well, if you're on the Drew Carey show,
You know you've made it.
once you go Drew, you're too rich to poo.
That's right. Craig Ferguson. Anyway.
We could just name comedians over the age of 50. Brian Regan.
That were on the yeah, but he wasn't on Drew Carey show.
I don't know who was on the Drew Carey show before my time.
And you never will because you can't. It's not streaming because they have a problem with the music rights.
And I'm sure I couldn't find it anywhere.
Nowhere at all.
I'm sure I couldn't go on YouTube and find the whole thing.
Completely impossible. Loved ones reported that on July 16th, 1996, Walsh left her son with his father, walked down the road to use a payphone, promising to be back in 30 minutes, according to a September 8th, 1996 article by The Record.
Classic trick.
Yep. Just going out to get cigarettes. It appeared she had plans to return as she left behind her purse, keys, and beeper until it's the 90s. She was also enrolled in a master's writing program at New York University, per the Doe Network. During the missing persons investigation, Bell Atlantic cited, quote, limited records for why it couldn't determine whether Walsh placed or received any calls from the payphone on the day she vanished.
Again, it does seem like this is the Russian mafia thing. Also, I think they're filling this out a little bit. I think they're really like, we're gonna go with every detail. You're going with a lot of they're going with a lot of superfluous ones.
Right. Years
it's
later,
impressive she did the master's program. I'm not trying to undermine it, but
right.
Focus on the murder.
It doesn't seem like it. Well, disappearance.
Yeah.
Or wait, why do you keep saying murder?
Yeah, maybe she's fine. Maybe she just got lost by the payphone.
Years later, Nutley detective John Ryan said in a 2008 episode of Unsolved Mysteries that investigators looked into several witnesses' claims that Walsh climbed into a limousine when she disappeared, but the lead fizzled out.
Don't go into one of those. Stay out of the limousine.
In 2006, the New York Post reported that Mark Walsh was not considered a suspect in the case, though he allegedly refused to let investigators perform forensic tests at the apartment.
I mean, be suspicious. I don't think it was him.
Walsh was a freelance writer who'd written a handful of articles for the Village Voice. Friend and fellow Village Voice journalist James Ridgway confirmed that Walsh previously worked as an exotic dancer, which helped her land an assignment digging into the Russian mob in New Jersey and their operations of sex trafficking minor immigrants through strip clubs. Yeah, none of this sounds good.
That's bad.
Sorry.
That's bad.
This is bad, real bad. She continued to dance to support her son, Ridgway told Unsolved Mysteries, having struggled to make ends meet.
Don't make a lot of money as a freelance reporter for the Village Voice in 1992, huh?
Yeah, I don't imagine so. Walsh occasionally worked at seedy strip clubs, which attracted a sordid cast of characters.
Are there non-seedy strip clubs? I've never heard a strip club described as like, this one's classy, this one's not. I feel like they're all pretty seedy.
I would describe most as seedy. Yeah.
There was a place in Worcester, Massachusetts called Hurricane Betty's that everybody called Sweaty Betty's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their parking was sponsored by Coors Light, which probably isn't great.
That's pretty sweet.
It's cool. Drunk driving's awesome, man. You ever been in the car with someone pulling it off?
Yeah, I think we talked about this.
Oh, we already talked about this?
Yeah.
I already whipped out this bit on the show. Fuck. I'm going to leave it in. I'm going to leave it in so they could see. Dementia count Andrew Michaels 1. Dementia count Jason 7.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking here to skip to the vampire stuff.
Yeah, let's see. Do they have more vampire stuff? I think they're just like she investigated these vampires. Just goths.
Well, mention that. Yeah, that's the whole reason we're doing this. Is the
they're fucking they lied to us. This is just an actual woman who got murdered.
Yeah. So here we'll skip ahead. So she was doing organized crime. Walsh was onto another story: vampire subculture. She was very intellectual. Friend and filmmaker Jill Morley told the Record in 2020 she wrote some dark stuff. She was fascinated with subcultures. According to Ridgway, the Village Voice declined to run her vampire-themed piece, citing a lack of objectivity. Walsh also began dating a man from the culture.
Too anti-vampire. You bring garlic bread once.
Oh no, I think quite the opposite. Walsh also began dating a man from the culture who claimed to be undead. And she believed a lot of the things that these guys were telling her about how there were secret murders and so on and so forth in the vampire world.
Oh shit. Maybe. I mean, there could be. So it could be the vampires.
She would come and say to me, I met these two guys. They got this van, and it's very scary. And I don't know whether I should go in their van.
You don't. So I said, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, no, don't.
Don't go in the van.
Look, don't go in the van because they might not be vampires, you know?
Yeah, that's really, yeah. I mean, it could be murders. It's not about, they're probably not sucking blood. I mean, they might suck blood, but it's not a vampire thing other than them deciding it is.
Despite theories related to Walsh's work in investigative journalism and adult entertainment industry, no one was closer to finding Susan Walsh.
Damn. Well, if anyone has any clues, they should not be listening to this fucking podcast. Probably.
Yeah.
They should listen to something.
Yeah. And then it goes on. I don't want to get too like gawky.
Yeah, I think we got. I think
we got her. Oh wait. I know she had someone in her life who identified as a vampire. I don't know if she drank human blood.
Probably not. Said
New Jersey attorney Alan Perutin.
That's such a New Jersey Italian. Like, I don't know. You had a vampire. Did she drink blood? I don't know. No, she didn't drink fucking blood.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we're not. We're kind of dipping our toe into true crime. Yeah, I don't know. The more I read about it, the less convinced about the vampire angle.
Yeah, it seems like it's probably the Russian mob. That's what I think. Right. But either way, it could be the vampires. Could be. And I wouldn't doubt that like weird shit happens in a lot of these subcultures that gets more serious.
Sure.
I mean, just based on like how serious I've seen shit get with like people's comedy feuds and stuff. Like, not saying people are being murdered, but like,
yeah.
I mean, it's happened, right? Uh-huh. Like, so yeah. I think there is like absolutely like these things boil over in any community.
No, and what looking into this, you talk about vampires. Supposedly, so I grew up in Beaver Creek, which is a suburb of Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah.
Dayton, Ohio, supposedly has the second largest coven of vampires, second only to New Orleans in the United States. And they made a Netflix documentary they were going to release, but for whatever reason pulled it.
Oh man,
So
how
I
many
guess I
vampires
have a
is
little
it?
bit.
Like, I mean, like in Dayton,
I don't know.
like 40?
It can't be that many.
Yeah, like New
Oh,
Orleans, I'd imagine is
that would
like
have to
pretty
be
big because it's like part
noticed.
of the aesthetic of
Right.
the city, like Anne Rice and all that. But
Right. Well, and it has to be a place where, like, if someone turns up dead somewhere, like, they drank too much or they fell in the bayou, or,
yeah, yeah.
Dayton doesn't have any of that shit. We don't have
Oh, yeah, they have
bayous.
drank too much,
We have nary a swamp to be seen.
but you definitely have they drank too much.
Oh yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
drinking in
All right. Well,
Dayton.
speaking of which, I don't know why I said speaking of which. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm Andrew Michaels. It's Jason Strong. You can follow the show on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Not Twitter. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Underworld News Tonight. You can follow
For
me
now,
on Instagram. I think TikTok's. We don't need to get into it. I think TikTok's gonna be fine.
yeah,
Instagram,
all right.
TikTok, YouTube, Andrew Michaels Comedy to
Mhm.
see my stand-up clips. If you're in New York and I get this edited before Wednesday, I will also be on a show on Wednesday the 15th at Aftermath NYC in Ridgewood, 9 p.m. 8 p.m., not 9 p.m. I'm going to be doing an 8-minute set. You can buy the links on my buy tickets on my Instagram at the link, $5. And Jason, you're on social media.
I am. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky
Jason
as
V.
Jason V Strong.
The V stands for
Very
very.
nice.
I was say you're very strong, but yeah, very nice too. You're nice
Yeah.
and you're strong. You have the kindness, but also the firmness, and you need both. You need both,
Exactly.
right? Because if you're just nice and you're not firm, then that's like you
They
give all your
walk all
family's
over.
money to a homeless guy, and your family's starving, and
Mhm.
that's actually a not nice thing to do is have a starving family.
No,
If you because
no.
you know, and it's not like a bad thing to do if it happens to you, but if you do it that way, it's not very nice.
Yeah.
But if you're strong
Yeah.
and not nice,
Mhm.
then you're a
Mhm.
fucking dick, and nobody likes
Yeah,
that.
that's right. That's right.
Wiser words.
Okay.
We're not going to say anything wiser than that. So
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
It's
Yeah.
all fucking Phantom time, but right now, I guess. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.